Martial Arts Movie Podcast.
I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
Featuring drunken Thai boxer, Will.
Too bad you will die.
The also drunken wrestler, Mark.
I said I don't want trouble.
And drunken karate master, Zero.
You've lost your balls.
And now,
I know Kung Fu. You know, baby.
Fists of Fail.
Zero, you are the Jean-Claude Van Damme expert among us. I'm just gonna.
I wouldn't say
out you
expert.
like that.
And I've mentioned this with these guys before. I think growing up, anybody who likes martial arts, like they probably grew up with a martial artist that they saw a lot.
Mm-hmm.
For me, growing up in the West, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, his movies were always on TV for me. Kickboxer was always on in our household, and that was the one that made me always want to do like spinning roundhouse kicks. And I was able to do it. I did that a lot.
And Zero breaks the furniture.
Yeah. I did that a lot
Why is the
because
base
of this movie, and I got into splits because of this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I wouldn't say he was the person I grew up with. I grew up more on like East Asian cinema.
Would it have something to do with you being Asian?
It could.
It could.
But I think the go-to movie for me is Bloodsport, because I'm an adult now. I haven't seen either movie in a long time. I get the memories of the two movies confused, and I would be like, "Oh, remember that scene in Kickboxer where Bolo snaps a guy?" I'm like, Bolo wasn't even in the movie.
I can see what you mean, just because a lot of the scenes, the fight scenes in like the ring and shit, kind of are similar in that sense. And then you have this crowd cheering all the time.
Yeah. Well, these were his two big prominent movies around that time. Like they came out like not back to back, but very
within a 2 year time span.
Semi-consecutively as far as like releases are concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Bloodsport predates Kickboxer.
Yes.
Bloodsport was what really made him big, right?
Yes, that was his breakout role.
Yes.
And then
His breakout role was breaking.
For me, it was. I mean that little dance gif that everyone shares of Jean-Claude Van Damme dancing in the one piece in breaking.
And he did it fucking 25 years later, like Conan or something.
Yeah, it's great.
So Kickboxer is an interesting Western approach to Thai kickboxing.
In this movie, it's supposed to be Thai.
Wait. But his brother clearly...
He's an American kickboxer.
No, he's an American kickboxer. And I'm jumping the gun here. But clearly, Taiwan is the capital of Thailand.
Wait, it's not?
Oh, he makes that bad joke.
It's not even a joke. He was being serious.
He's being
in
serious,
the movie.
yeah.
And it kind of encompasses like the general Western thought about how... they both start with the T. I guess they're the same fucking thing.
Right.
The movie starts with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Well, he's the brother of this quote-unquote star, like the American kickboxing champion.
Which one's Eric and which one's David Sloan?
David Sloan. No, there's no David. It's Kurt Sloan. You watched this movie 1,000 times. How do you not remember this?
I always called him Jean-Claude Van Damme. I never called him by his character's
we'll continue
name.
calling him Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. No, I know.
This is a very drunken episode. So Eric Sloan, the actor who played him, he's an actual kickboxing champion in real life.
Yes.
So he actually has some stay in the action choreography in the movie. In this movie, Jean-Claude is doing the action choreography, and for me, it kind of shows, because like it's not nearly close to the level of excitement that I got out of Bloodsport.
There's a difference between being an action star and an action choreographer.
Yeah.
Just a fun movie about kickboxing that isn't kickboxing until they go to Thailand and then they learn actual Thai kickboxing.
But is it Thai kickboxing that they're learning?
We won't dwell on that. We'll just continue. And then we just have a situation where the champ fights the other champ from a different land.
Tong Po.
Yes.
Played by Michael
Kesey?
Michelle Pfeiffer?
I think
it's a
Michael.
different spelling, so I'm just call him Michael.
Michael Kesey.
Yeah, he's wrongly credited in the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the credits it says Tong Po plays himself. It's like, no, it's not.
That's not right.
He's not even Asian.
Yeah.
He's a Moroccan dude.
So when I watched this movie as a kid, didn't think anything of it. Oh, they're in Thailand. He's the Thai bad guy, right? When I watch this again, and we get the Blu-ray HD quality, his face looks really weird, and
just like scarred.
It's because he has prosthetics on to make him look more international, more Asian.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you call that? Yellow face?
We won't worry about that right now.
Wait, it's not David Sloan, right? I want to keep calling him David. Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother is the world champ. Mm-hmm. He defeats some guy, and now he's like, oh, real kickboxing comes from Thailand. So he says, I want to fight the guy in Thailand. I want to fight that champ. They go to Thailand, and they're prepping, And I didn't realize this when I was younger watching it, but we have a great introduction to the villain.
Yeah.
Who, if you realize, he's almost never in this movie.
That shot's fucking amazing, by the way.
Yeah, so basically, Jean-Claude Van Damme is walking down the hall, and you just hear this consistent thudding sound. Mm-hmm. You get the behind-the-back shot of him walking towards a doorway. You still hear the thuds. Then you slowly start to see, a body. You
like a shadow.
Yeah, you still don't know what's going on. Once he finally comes into the door, you realize it's a man, a very, very big man, who is using his shin to kick a supporting beam column in the room. Mm-hmm. And it's just shaking, the soot is coming down. Mm-hmm. And Van Damme's expression is just fuck.
It's actually a really good expression.
It's good, yeah.
It's his best acting. When they entered the ring or the stadium, they see the different boxing style. Van Damme sees it, and immediately he's just like, "Oh, this is fucking different." I don't know. And then it's emphasized again when he walks into that locker room. It's like, "Oh, we're fucked." He knows it before the fight even starts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's a nice build up.
Yeah, I like what they're doing here. They're in a different land. He's a little concerned, and now he's very concerned, and he's like, "Please don't fight this guy. I think he's a killer. I think this is gonna go bad." And his brother's just like, no. It's like, I got this. I'll just beat him up. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Do you want to talk about maybe some of the fighting?
The actual fighting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, it's very simple, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot of just kneeing into the ribs consistently for a solid 30 seconds. Where
he gets them against the ropes.
Yes, and he basically shatters his whole thoracic cavity, and he's pretty much done. Mm-hmm. And then when he's on the floor, he finishes him off when he didn't have to. When he goes to the hospital, they say that they fractured one of the vertebrae and they paralyzed him. And then you realize that elbow hit to the back shattered that vertebra, and that was the cause. Yeah. So it's definitely. Yeah.
And just to tie in what you mentioned before, Jean-Claude Van Damme, he sees that his brother is losing horribly. He literally throws a towel into the ring, and Tong Po is like, nope.
Yeah.
And then he continues to wall up on him, and then it goes to him elbowing him in the back of the spine.
Yeah. Basically, he gets him on his stomach, and then when he tries to get back up, he's like, fuck this shit, elbow.
Boom, yeah.
Batman's
Brokeback Mountain?
Yes. Next episode, Brokeback Mountain review, martial arts.
I don't like that fight scene where they're wrestling.
It wasn't consensual.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. We're at the point where we give our recommendations, but there's a whole wealth of audio you would be listening to here if you follow us on Patreon. There you can listen to the entire episode, including an exclusive action breakdown of the fights in the movie. And now on to our final thoughts. Man, we were all over the place.
We were all over the place.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, you drunk.
I am pretty drunk, and that's the only way I can get through this movie. I don't hate it, but
yes, you do.
I don't hate it. I don't. Okay. I have biases. I'll go first because I don't want to end negatively. Because I'll definitely be the negative one amongst you guys. It's not my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Mm-hmm. I grew up, and I wouldn't say I grew up with Bloodsport, but I watched Bloodsport a lot more because I found that movie more entertaining. The fight choreography is what saved it for Bloodsport for me. There's a little bit more involved, a little bit more interesting. And I thought Bolo in general was more intimidating. He didn't say shit in the entire movie, but I thought he was just a very menacing figure. And I can't believe I'm defending Bloodsport when last week we were just shitting on Frank Dukes for his shitty choreography. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed bags about these two movies. I love Bloodsport, but somehow not so much Kickboxer. But I'll let you guys gush about Kickboxer, and I'll just be the dissenting asshole.
Cool. Really, I would say top 5 Van Damme movies. I mean, Time Cop, of course, is number 1. Kickboxer, overall great movie. I mean, I've made my points pretty well known. I think its plot is pretty good overall. I say average. It's not exceptional or anything like that, but it takes a very different approach from any martial arts movie that is within that era. Not too much fighting, not too much choreography here and there. It's just mostly Van Damme getting oiled up and fucking looking pretty, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, it's too gratuitous. So there are definitely downsides to everything. But I mean, how could you not recommend this movie? I know.
I just explained it to you.
No,
what are you talking about?
I'm okay with this movie, and I think it's definitely a classic, a mainstay in the martial arts world, and everybody should see it.
So, yeah, I definitely have a lot of nostalgia for this film. I can very clearly acknowledge that. I grew up with this movie. I have very fond memories of it. Watching it now, I can very clearly see its flaws, but because I have nostalgia for this film, I still like it. You know, I'm not ignorant to that fact. You know, I've seen a lot of movies with better choreography. It doesn't matter because I still like this movie because I grew up watching it and I'm nostalgic for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I clearly acknowledge that. But I will say, rewatching this, I don't think this is one of Van Damme's better movies. I think that it shows off a lot of his skills, but I actually like some of his maybe later '90s movies better than this. He has the flexibility. He's definitely really ripped and very charismatic, and you can't deny the drunken dancing scene. Like you remember it.
That is the highlight of the movie. Yeah.
Whether you like to remember it or not, you definitely remember it. But yes, I have nostalgia for this movie. I clearly see its faults, but I still like it. And if you've never seen it, definitely watch it. You know, like it's kind of a martial arts stay for a reason. But if you're not a fan of Van Damme, then you can definitely skip it. Like the fight choreography isn't anything to write home about, and it's not the best portrayal of Muay Thai. I have a feeling that this movie had good intentions when it was trying to say like, oh, this is about Muay Thai, even though they realized it really wasn't.
It was too late by then. They already shot more than half of the movie.
Well, yeah,
Michael Kesey actually is a Muay Thai practitioner, like Tung Po.
Yeah,
So
I think
he actually trained Jean-Claude Van Damme during the production of this movie. So something
yeah,
doesn't work.
I think this just goes to the ignorance of Hollywood in that time. Like, hey, we're gonna make this movie about this, and not even realize we're not really doing it justice or doing it accurately.
Yeah. What would this movie be like if it kept the actual another actor who was supposedly going to play the lead role was Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
What would the movie be
Chuck
like?
Norris is also not a Muay Thai fighter.
He's not.
The setting would be in Vietnam.
And he would have been saving POWs
Using Muay Thai.
using Muay Thai / karate, kung fu, whatever. Yeah. Well, it would have been choreographed differently because I don't think Chuck Norris choreographs his own fights. So
Does Jean-Claude Van Damme really even choreograph his own?
I'm
fight?
no,
sure he-
generally
before this,
not.
yeah.
This might have just been, hey, like this is
Well, this is his
low
second.
budget. Yeah, this is a lower budget, and he decided upon himself to choreograph it.
Right.
I'm speculating and guessing.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't. I mean, that time in his career, he was just like, I just want to be in a fucking movie.
Yeah, but so this helped though. Like this
Yeah.
this movie was huge, and so that definitely propelled him into the 90s stardom that he got.
Well, he didn't do the sequels because I know that he
'cause
was
he died.
too busy for Double Impact. And yes, we'll talk about that next time.
I love that movie. It's twice the Van Damme,
Man,
and there's actually slow motion sex scenes.
man, you really
I-
like Van Damme.
Yeah, no, I watched this movie a lot because of the slow motion sex.
You should have seen how excited Zero was when he said, "There's more sex scenes." in Van Damme."
Available on Pornhub.com.